Welcome to my coffee channel. I am Thomas, and today I am going to be reviewing a coffee, or the coffee, from Death Wish Coffee. It says it's whole bean, world's strongest coffee. Supposedly this coffee has about 6 times more caffeine than the average cup of coffee. So anyway, I don't know if it has any other redeeming qualities. Ingredients: certified organic coffee, so we know it's organic. It does have a use on date, no roast on date. Anyway, we're going to analyze it. We're going to cup it. I'm going to pull a shot, and I'm going to score it. And on my SCA scorecard, I'm going to let you know, does this coffee have any redeeming qualities other than being extremely caffeinated. And I have no idea how they caffeinate it. I'm assuming it's mostly Robusta. Robusta coffee has about 2.5 times of Arabica coffee. But supposedly this has 5 times. The only way I can think they could have 5 times the caffeine is if they were spraying caffeine on the beans, liquid caffeine on the beans, like you would doing a flavored coffee. But I would think that would be required to put on the label. It does not say caffeine added, so I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll be right back with the analysis of this coffee, then I'm going to cup it, and I'm going to let you know how I scored this coffee. Be right back. I have analyzed this coffee with my roast rate. On the outer skin of this coffee, it is a 42, which makes it a French roast. The ground, or the inner side average, is a 31, so it puts it more down in the Vienna range. Being a hyper caffeinated coffee, roasting it dark would tell me that you would burn up more caffeine going dark like that. But anyway, I'm going to cup it, see what kind of quality it has, and then I will pull a shot, and I'll let you know how I score this coffee and what I think of it. I'll be right back. Okay, I got my coffee brewing. Just so you know, when I poured the water, there was no bloom that came off this coffee. So, I have no idea how long it's been in the bag, but it's not that fresh. Anyway, no bloom. I'm going to pull a shot right now and let you know what I think of that. Okay, not a lot of crema, but there's a nice little crema there. If I fall down and die from a heart attack, somebody please call 911. A little sweet. I had this smell a while back. It's almost like lipstick, lip balm, sort of a waxy sort of smell to it, but sweet. Like I said, if I was to check, it'd be like a sweet lipstick sort of smell, lip gloss. Let's give it a try. There again, tastes very dark roast, very smoky. Bordering on kind of burnt even. Has a very burnt taste to it. The aroma, the dry aroma that I got off of this coffee was also the same, very sort of kind of burnt like. I don't know why, how they're roasting it, but I'm thinking that maybe they're roasting it very fast and possibly scorching the bean a little bit. But nothing a ton. Don't recommend it for a shot. I'm going to try it in a cappuccino in a little while, let you know what I think of that. I'll be right back. We're going to cup it, and I'm going to let you know what I think of this coffee. And also I have some cold brew brewing, and it should be ready shortly. Okay, this coffee's been resting about 14 minutes. Let's give it a try and see what we have. I'm going to guess this coffee is probably made up of mostly or all Robusta coffee. It really is flavorless. The only thing I'm really tasting is the roast. Tastes very smoky, on the verge of even tasting burnt. There's really no sweetness. Very little aroma coming off of this coffee. It does have a nice acidity to it. It has a nice bright sparkle on the tongue. Does have a nice full mouth. It sits on the back of the tongue. Makes you feel like a very full mouthful. Body's okay. Definitely I would not call this a specialty coffee. I wouldn't call this a third wave coffee. I'm not sure anybody would call it a second wave coffee. I'm not even sure where I would categorize this coffee. More like a gimmick coffee or whatever you want to call it because of the caffeine. It seems like they build the whole brand around that it has 5 times more caffeine than an average cup of coffee. That is their theme of this brand. Anyway, I am going to taste my cold brew in a bit, and I'm going to make a cappuccino, and I'm going to let you know what my scorecard is on this coffee when I get back. Okay, it's been about 15 hours, and I'm going to give you my score on this coffee. I'm going to make a cappuccino first. Like I said, it makes a nice crema. Let's try it in our cappuccino. Makes a decent cappuccino, kind of tastes rather smoky. Oh, let's just try a cold brew in here. I'm only going to sample a little bit. Not much smoke. The only thing I get off of this coffee in terms of taste is I'm tasting the roast. I don't really feel any taste in these beans at all. It's just sort of that smoky, kind of musty, burnt sort of sensation. Did have a nice acidity to it. But one thing I can say, this is an extremely hyper caffeinated coffee. I mean, I could feel my heart racing just after 1 or 2 little sips. So, if you're just looking to get that caffeine jolt, this might be the coffee for you, because like I said, 1 or 2 little sips and I'm just like going. But anyway, let me give you my score. On fragrance, didn't really have much in the way of a fragrance, sort of that smoky burnt. On the break, when I was doing the taste, I had just a tinge of sweetness in the aroma. Anyway, I gave it a 7. On flavor, pretty flavorless. I gave it a 7.5. Aftertaste, it did sort of linger on the back of your tongue a little bit, so I gave it an 8. It did have a really nice acidity to it. It had a nice sparkle acidity. I gave it an 8.5. Sweetness, no sweetness whatsoever in this coffee. I gave it a 7, maybe that's being generous. Bitterness, like I said, it did have some bitterness to the cup. Not horrible. I gave it an 8. On mouthful, like I said, it did fill your mouth, sort of felt thick. So I gave it an 8.5. Balance, it did seem like between the two sides, I gave it an 8.5. On defects, I gave it a 9. Not bad, but it does, that little lipsticky lip balm, it's just sort of an odd taste for me. So I gave it a 9. Overall drinkability, I gave it a 7. My total score on this coffee is 79 is my total score on this coffee out of 100. On my price ratio, I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. And the reason I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars is that this coffee really wasn't a specialty coffee. I'd call it more of a gimmicky coffee, you know, because of the caffeine. The only reason I would say to drink this coffee is if you're looking for a hyper caffeinated coffee. I would say be very careful. But the main thing is, for a 1-pound bag, I bought this at my grocery store, and it was a little less than $20. So I'm thinking this is probably mostly Robusta coffee in the bag, which is actually a very cheap coffee. There's lots of places to get cheap Robusta coffee. I think $20 is an awfully a lot of money for this bag of coffee. I mean, depends if you're an energy drinker and you're drinking a lot of cans of energy drink. You know, this might be a cheaper way to get your energy caffeine fix. But anyway, that is my review for this week. Thanks for visiting the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you got any value out of this video, hit that like button. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.